It's time for
DodgerHeads.
high fly ball into right field. Dodgers have won it all in 2020. Shohei Ohtani, 50-50 club. Strikes him out. There's a drive. Shohei Ohtani. Freeman hits the ball. She is gone. Birthday party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into DodgerHeads Unplugged with Scotty G. Happy Tuesday. It's great to have you in here. Welcome. It's a Victory Tuesday. Can't be unhappy about that. Can be unhappy about a couple things. We'll dive into that in just a couple minutes here. Good morning, chat. Welcome, everybody tuning in for the first time. Appreciate you tuning in. I'm going to let everybody kind of trickle in here. It's really great to have you. Some topics to get into, some quotes to break down. Decisions by Dave Roberts there, how the offense has, done some things here in the past few days, some things I liked. You can see by a headline, some stuff that I'm pleasantly surprised with as of late. Once you start looking at the numbers here and, starting pitching's continued success. This run is fairly significant at this time. And then we're going to dive into the bullpen. I really want to get into Blake Treinen, Tanner Scott and stuff with that. Put some stuff up here. Cooking with Cobb. Happy to be here, Scott. What's up, buddy? It's good to see you in here, man. Yeah. MR says, I don't know how I feel about this team anymore. Inconsistencies won't let me be comfortable. Love the show. Yeah. So I totally get you. It's stuff that we've broken down over the last few weeks. We really don't know. Spoke last week and I think the week prior about, kind of what's the team identity. We're learning a bunch more. We're waiting on a few things to click right. Max Muncy just getting back. Vesia should be activated today. Still waiting on Tommy Edman here. Daryl says, glad we got the win, but Scott is scaring me. Of all those outs were hit hard, but thankfully at people. Yeah, Tanner Scott has he's got to earn some trust. We're running out of time, and that's the biggest thing. We're running out of time for this. So, there's a lot of things there. Foxy, good morning. Kim, good morning. William Andrews, greetings. What's up, buddy? Eden, good to see you, man. Yeah, Jimmy, people talking about crazy stuff. Fire Dave Roberts. People always want to feel some type of way. Fox says Roberts has his job because he's good with players. Phil Jackson got the same criticism, but he got results. When he didn't, he dipped. Yeah, I don't think Dave Roberts is going to leave the Los Angeles Dodgers because that's kind of the pinnacle of the sport, right? That's kind of, a job where he's going to have a World Series roster seemingly all the time. You're going to have all the money to do kind of front office, do whatever they want. So Dave Roberts is in a good spot. I'm sure he'd rather be there than anywhere else. He gets handled pretty well there as far as like the media. They don't get on him too hectic. Get him on him too hectic, from the day-to-day stuff. But as far as like his job, Dave Roberts has been exceptional. He's pushed all the right buttons at the biggest times, and we've seen that on the biggest stage. So we're talking about September baseball here, but when the lights have been on, he's been good stuff there. 2020, 2024 things. Yeah, TQT, love Unplugged time. Love you, buddy. Thanks for tuning in. Quick housekeeping, do us a quick favor. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, road to 100K. We're almost there. It's going to take the work of everybody here. But thank you all for tuning in. If you're listening to the podcast after the fact, Apple, Spotify, leave us a comment there. Make sure you rate, do all the things. You've all been great to us. But let's dive right in. Let's get right in here. It's something that when I was watching the game, when I was tuning in and looking at kind of the progression of how it's going to go, big shout out to Tyler Glasnow. We were going to do a live last night. Some things didn't line up, but Tyler Glasnow goes out and twirls an absolute gem. I know it's the Colorado Rockies. But they're a professional ball club. They're a big league team. And you use those games sometime to get right. Use those games to work on things. And when you work on things and things click right, things like that happen. Tyler Glasnow goes, no hitter through 7. 105 pitches. We all know, it's not old school ball anymore. You've got to be careful with these arms. It's just how it has to be. I don't think anybody is upset that Dave Roberts didn't let Tyler Glasnow. I mean, there was going to be a contingent of fans that are upset that Tyler Glasnow didn't throw, 140 pitch no hitter in September, and then he's unavailable for the playoffs. That can't happen. We've seen Tyler Glasnow have a number of injuries. We won't dive into that, but things can happen with Tyler Glasnow pretty fluidly, and I'm good that he came out after 705 pitches, 11 punch, walks 2, and that, the back issue that he just recently had for it, pushing back. Looks great, chat. Tyler Glasnow looks fantastic. Yeah, let's see. Like the move to send him out at 90 pitches. Yeah, that Eden, that was a ballsy thing from Dave. It definitely could have been a different thing. We could have seen him take him out there, but give him one more, give him 7. 7 just looks. You go 7 as a starting pitcher in the Big 25. That's a thing, Yeah, Cobb. We don't need Tim Lincecum no hitter. We don't need that throwing 145, 150 pitches. I'm good. Don't care. Yeah. Karma says I'm still mad. Jet 2 Holiday. That's a funny nickname. I like that. Jet 2 Holiday broke Yama's no hitter. Yeah. I would like if there's any old school ball fans in the chat tuning in after the fact, please state your case. Like, I want to know genuinely, people that are mad that Tyler Glasnow wasn't allowed to finish the no hitter, no matter what the pitch count. Like, somebody out there has to believe that it doesn't matter. You just leave him in to die in the mound. I need to see it. Please, 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 please. Yeah, breaking ball was working, Cobb. Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah, Norm, I just want to see. Yeah, I just want to see. I saw you comment that. I just want to see somebody state the case that Tyler Glasnow should have been left out there to go run into the ground. But Norm says, I don't think fans are upset at Glasnow getting pulled, but who was called in if they lost that game? Roberts would have pinned a fire me sign on the back. I mean, I disagree wholeheartedly. Like, that's Dave Roberts. He spoke after the game. So on Saturday, Yama's no hitter, gives it up in the 9th on a solo to Tanner or to Jackson Holiday there. Goes to Blake Treinen, doesn't have a feel for this stuff, walks it. Tanner Scott gives it up. Last night, Tyler Glasnow finishes 7 strong, no hit. Goes to Blake Treinen, who looks great, who's looked fantastic since he came off the IL. Prior to the blow up in Baltimore, Blake Treinen from July 28th all the way through September 5th, Blake Treinen had a 2.45 ERA, 2.26 expected FIP with a 16 plus K per 9 and near 5 walk 9. So Blake Treinen is someone who has been getting a ton of whiff, a ton of punch, walk issues for sure, but he's been able to work around it. Baltimore, it all came to a head. He couldn't find the zone at all, wasn't getting ahead, and that's the product of when those walk issues come into play. And that's what you have to take note of. But looks great last night, goes 1-2-3, gets a strikeout. And then the decision to go to Tanner Scott. I think Blake was running the account last night. Blake Williams was covering the game for us. And he texted us saying, Dave's a madman. He's got Tanner Scott warming. The people are going to love it. And I totally understand. I totally get it. Totally understand, guys. Dave Roberts could have gone with Anthony Bonda. He could have gone, but it's could have gone with Anthony Bonda, Jack Dreyer. I know there's been some usage things. Don't pull it up because I haven't looked at it. I looked at it just for a few guys didn't. But he could have gone with other number of arms. But to Dave Roberts's own admission, he said that these are his guys, and if he went to someone else, then it would show kind of a change in philosophy, a change in how he's going to use some of these guys. And performance aside, Tanner Scott is paid to be a big name closer, paid to pitch at the back end of games. And I know they're battling for a division, but they are almost guaranteed locked. Yeah, Johnny. I hear you. I'm going to put this up just because Jack Dreyer was the obvious choice. Jack Dreyer has been an unsung hero for this bullpen. And I think that he has earned himself a very, he might be good where he's at. I don't want to push players too far because players can be where they're at. You don't always have to launch them into big time leverage stuff. You don't always have to. So Jack Dreyer has been amazing. But with Tanner Scott, he's paid to be he's paid to be a big time top dollar reliever. Tanner Scott's getting paid top dollar, has to perform. Yeah. Dave Roberts put him in there to do that job, to absolutely do that job. And what does he do immediately? Gives it up. Double. Alex Call got turned around. Dave Roberts thought that as well. He spoke post game, said that, Alex Call, he has to look at it, but Alex Call might have gotten turned around a bit, but doesn't matter. Fastball down. Tanner Scott's had an issue leaving fastballs down. Stuff's been getting smoked. Cannot stop throwing things down the heart of the plate. So he has to be better. It's just flat out what it's got to be. There's no other way around it. But Dave Roberts is going to put him out there to go through those issues, work through those issues. It sucks. But a combined no-hitter, we've seen one of those before. They did that in Mexico a couple years ago. Walker Buehler, I know, started that game. It doesn't have the same juice, but I understand the outrage about it. Tanner Scott just has to be better. Either it's, Tanner Scott said himself, baseball hates him right now. He needs to just work his way through it. Stop throwing stuff down the heart of the zone. He's not getting whiffs. Slider's not been in a competitive spot. We talk, I think TQT and Mike Carrillo, when he's in here, we talk kind of at length about how his stuff's just in uncompetitive spots, flat out. But he's paid top dollar to be a back end guy. In that contract right now has looked horrific to start. He has not been a plus addition. He has been anything but. He looks terrible. So he's got to work his way through that stuff. He looks, like nonsense. He needs to get it together. Dave Roberts, and I'm sure Tanner Scott's not making any excuses for himself. But the Tanner Scott decision is one that if he had blown another game, the fans were already letting him hear it after giving up, blowing the no-hitter, combined no-hitter. But it's not looking good for where Tanner Scott's at. I know he finished it out, finished out the game, gave up one hit, took care of business there, got a win. Important. Dodgers at 80 wins on the season here. Season record is at 80-64. So, yeah, he's just got to be better. And that's just flat out how it is. Dusty says Scott's is hittable because he keeps throwing meatballs. Yeah. He's in a blender out there. Velo's in a good spot, but it doesn't matter. If you're throwing everything down in the zone, that's fastball characteristics. Everything looks very similar to last year. So his location is terrible. Sequencing doesn't look good. And it seems that every single time they get into a gotta be spot or like a strikeout spot, he's throwing the fastball and he's missing it down. And that's just giving hitters an opportunity to see it easier. It doesn't have ride, so it's just staying down, and they're able to pummel it, and that's what they're doing. It's not just for singles, it's for extra base hits, and that's an absolute problem. So to Dave Roberts' credit, he's continuing to use him like a top dollar player, and that top dollar player has to perform. It'd be different if it was just a fill-in reliever, somebody that's just, up for a bit and they can send him down. But Tanner Scott just flat out has to be better, and he knows that. So I think we're all on the same page, chat. I'm going to scroll through some comments here from you guys about it, but I think we're kind of all in the same thing. We would have liked to see the no-hitter, but Tanner Scott being put in these scenarios where he just flat out has to perform is something that you need to figure out now rather than we get later down the road in the postseason or towards the end of the season. And then things really get dicey there. Nick on Facebook says, put Tanner Scott in the 8th and Treinen in the 9th. I mean, are you saying for last night or just going forward? Because I don't think it really matters much. Tanner Scott's the way he's pitching right now, he's going to get hit no matter what. Absolutely does not matter where he's going to get hit. So Johnny says Tanner Scott goes slider, meatball, fastball. W comment. Great comment of the day so far. I like that. That's a great one. Somebody beat that. Slider, meatball, fastball. Yeah. Yes. And then the Baltimore Orioles win a ball game. That's how it goes. The Dave Roberts Marching Crowder Society. I mean, look, if you want to clarify on like if people just stand Dave Roberts just blindly, then that's your prerogative. But Dave Roberts just puts players in a position where they have to perform. They have to perform. It's not just you can't just avoid him. He's going to be on the team regardless. I was talking to Blake Williams last night about like would the Dodgers leave Tanner Scott off a playoff roster? No, he's making too much money. He's going to have to figure it out to be there. But he'll be there no matter what. I like this comment here. I'm impressed with Ben Roivit. I can see the hunger in his eyes, something his team lacks. I mean, look, Karma. Dave Roberts had some great comments about Ben last night, basically saying that, Ben's he's a servant to the pitching staff. He understands his role. He knows he's a backup catcher. And the fact that he's caught almost 2 no-hitters within how many games here? 4 is remarkable. So he's got a handle of the staff. I know Yamamoto was calling his own pitches on Saturday, but good receiver of the ball, gives good target, looks good back there. Signs only catches gems. Yeah, Royford only catches gems. I agree. So they're running 3 catchers at the moment. So we'll see where they're at. I don't know how long he stays, but for the time being, it definitely it's nice to have a backup catcher who, like Foxy says, doing catcher things. That's good. Yes, I agree. I definitely agree. Dusty says use Tanner Scott in the middle of the game, or if he blows it, someone can maybe save it. Yeah, I mean, it's up to the offense to maybe save it. And then we'll figure that out there. Mike, give me a sec. I got a couple comments from you that I'm happy about. I've got some interesting thoughts here as well. Okay. Again, everybody, Super Chat's the best way to get a hold of it. Shout out to the 500 joining in here. Thanks for joining me on this Tuesday. Dodgers are in another position to win a ball game. Want to know why? They got the starting pitching matchup again. You're going to have to go out there and perform, though. Final comments on the Tanner Scott, Blake Treinen thing. Blake Treinen is in a good spot. He's had a good run of success here. So he's officially on the list of like, as long as he's not egregiously missing the zone. And I think that's something that, Dave Roberts is going to have a handle on pretty well there. You'll know pretty early if Blake Treinen doesn't have a handle on the sweepers, not able to land it for strikes, because it does just have a ton of run. If you watch Blake Treinen sweeper, it stays in the zone a long time. But if he's not able to start it in a good spot, then it's going to land in a bad spot. And with Blake Treinen, you'll know pretty early what he has to rely on. And that's when he becomes hittable. That's when he's going to give up a lot of walks, base runners, and then you get a blow up outing like that. But those are far and few. We're talking, like I said, end of July all the way through up until prior to Saturday that he was beautiful. But Tanner Scott just has to be better. If it continues on this run, I could definitely see them having to completely rework what he's doing, because he has no deception in how he's pitching right now. Fastballs in hittable spots, slider doesn't look good, and he's making way too much money to be this bad. But I'd be hard pressed to find a scenario the Dodgers just completely leaving him off, unless he either gets hurt. That would suck. Don't want that, because then that's just one less option. I know people always want to talk about an underperforming player just getting hurt and solving a problem, but I'm not a fan of that stuff. He needs to figure it out, because when he's at his best, he can get the best out. So the Dodgers, I'm not going to say will need Tanner Scott, because I like the lefties the Dodgers currently have in the bullpen aside from him. But I really think he just has to figure it out to be better. All right, let's go right into here. Big three coming together at the right time. And I definitely think that this is something that everybody needs to be happy about. But before I completely dive in, I'm going to, let's see. Mike says, Scott, what's your take on Shohei's early runners in scoring position opportunity and not cashing the runner in last night? I mean, look, I talk about having a different club in the bag quite a bit. It's something that I expect him to come up more than he doesn't. So I understand the frustration there. I know we definitely have to be a little bit more contact inclined. So not too worried about it. He's been on a heater. I totally understand the frustrations of it, though. Let's see. MV3 is nice to see. Daryl says Conforto needs to be benched. All righty. You guys are funny today. But the big three coming together. And just for a little bit of context, we've been waiting for Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman to all kind of perform at the same time. So I'm going to toss out a couple stats just to give people like good sample sizes here. All right. And I'm not big on, like, other people want to talk about, sliding scales for whatever, but I'll have to put it out there. Teoscar Hernandez is like 7th or 8th on the big board here, just for context, everybody. But since August 15th, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, and Mookie Betts have been the best 3 hitters in their lineup, according to WRC Plus. All right. They all look exceptional at the plate. They're doing a job when they have to. Freddie Freeman, we know, is going to do a job when he has runners on. He's got different clubs in the bag. He works away first off. I'm big time on that with lefties. You never be late inside, and you work away when they give it to you. So I expect him to do that. Last night, Freddie Freeman banged his 37th double of the year, ties the National League lead there. So shout out to Freddie Freeman. Ohtani's up to a career high in 97 walks so far, 96 with the Angels in 2021. And Mookie Betts has a 14-game on-base streak. 14-game on-base streak. So let me put this back. Let me scrunch this sample a little bit more to the end of this past month. And Mookie Betts has a 150 WRC plus here. And he's batting, let's see here, 317. So in that stretch, Mookie Betts has looked electric. He's proven everybody wrong. He's changed his approach there. We always knew his chase and his whiff rate are at sustainable levels. It was more time to be bat to ball, work away to get pull side. He's not getting as much slug, but he, just like we saw last night in the game-winning 2 RBI single, Mookie Betts is in a terrific spot to bat in a 2-hole, continue to do the things that he does. And the biggest thing that we saw last year, Chad, is make pitchers, am I going to say afraid to pitch to him? I don't know if they're afraid from a slug standpoint, but he still can slug. But he's going to make you pay if he's going to work in at bat. He's going to either pass the buck to Freddie Freeman behind him, whoever is batting behind him there, and he's going to do a job. So I'm very confident in 50 to do a job right now. He is as locked in as it gets. So I'm very impressed with what Mookie Betts has continued to be able to do. And betting on a first ballot Hall of Famer is always the right thing to do. Absolutely the right thing to do. Don't doubt that ever. But Shohei Ohtani himself, we talked last week about he was in a little bit of a rut. But Shohei Ohtani, his body of work in this period there, you see his power stuff come in numbers. So Mike, Creel, I understand the frustrations sometimes with Shohei Ohtani because he does have, not one club, but he's got a very, slug-oriented approach. He does want to punish. He does want to punish a hanger in the middle of the zone, even on a pitcher's pitch. That's what he's looking to do, and he lets the contact speak for itself here. But in his last 44 plate appearances, we're talking about a 200 WRC plus. So 1,100 OPS. I really can't argue with that. Averages will play itself out. So Freddie Freeman looks good his last little bit. He's been a league average guy, but we're talking about extra base inclined. He's going to give you that, walk rate. He's going to give you that plus 10% walk rate. So he's always going to be there, pass the buck, do a job when it's there. So the big three are coming together at the perfect time, and that's when the trickle-down effect happens. That's when everything has to happen. So I'm very impressed with the big three here. Admin. MV3 is time to carry. Have to do it. You just have to do it. Oh, my God. I shouldn't have said anything about Teoscar. I'm going to put these up just because you guys are so funny today. But Pat maybe says, line drive to left field, needed more Mookie. Yeah. Everybody needs more Mookie. 50's a beast. Let's see here. I'll put up a couple things about Teoscar. I don't want to, but I will. Put Teo on the IL for laziness. His at-bats look really bad, guys. His at-bats look terrible. In that same sample that I was talking about since August 28th, that's just 32 at-bats. Not a lot of plate appearances. 32. negative 13 WRC plus. He just goes up there in a gotta produce situation. Whether he has count leverage or not, whether he's, he is just getting beat on fastballs down. Stuff that's just uncharacteristic of him. So I have no clue what's going on with Teoscar Hernandez there. It's in the spot where anything is on the table. I hinted at, I think yesterday, talking about if the Dodgers feel like they want to move on from him in the offseason, then that's on them to do it. He looks a 180 from what he was last year, but I still believe in him in those big spots until proven otherwise in the postseason. So we'll see about that. But it's definitely a really not a good product from Teoscar Hernandez. JY, baseball makes me think of the SEC financial disclaimer. Past performance does not guarantee future results, both for teams and individual players. I mean, I'm big on what we've seen it in the postseason type of guy. So I'm big on that. That's how I kind of, base a lot of things, because postseason and regular season are night and day. We saw Mookie Betts for, a few seasons not perform, and then he did it. And then, we know that his stuff is sustainable. He just had to see himself do it. Tommy Edman, we've seen him do it, matchup oriented, and go from there. Teoscar Hernandez, he was doing it all season, continued to do it in the post. So I'm just, that's where I base my stuff on. I think the only one that's kind of really let me down on that front was like for a few years growing up was like, Kershaw had a really tough run, management issues, not taking him out at the right times and pitching in spots he shouldn't. But otherwise, like, offensive pieces, I've seen these players do it. So I'm inclined, JY, I appreciate this comment because I totally get it. But when it comes to like handing out contracts, it just seemed like a no-brainer. I don't think anybody, even people who were like doubted the contract at the time, didn't think, not even close. If anyone says they expect him to be putrid, they need to just relax. It's okay to be big brain and victory lap. But if you felt that Teoscar was going to be this bad, you're just yapping. But it's definitely something that was a concern by a few for him to take a step back. But we're not talking about one of the worst hitters, like qualified hitters in the last few months. Bad. And that's how bad he's been. Let's see. A couple more comments here. Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah, has been disappointed to say the least. Maybe this is where we go get Kyle Tucker. Yeah, I get it. We'll talk about that. Says his hitting profile has always been all or nothing, too much, nothing lately. Paid JD Martinez to help him out. Yeah, I mean, there's still time, but it looks really bad. It could be the spot where they move him down in the order. Definitely is getting close to that time. I think Tommy Edman and Max Muncy will change a few things there, but Teoscar Hernandez, and Andy Pages looking better too. He's looking better too. If he wants to use some of the noggin when he's out on the field, then Andy Pages has looked good. His body of work this season's has been stellar, but he's in a little bit of a tough spot here. Man, you guys are on Conforto today. I'm going to stay away from it. I'm definitely going to stay away from it. Okay. All right. I'm going to toss my ticker up here, and then that's for tonight. Emmett Sheehan, Herman Marquez. And then I'm just going to rip some questions. I'm going to take a good bit. But earlier in the show, I saw Michael Carrillo. I appreciate you talking about this, because this is someone that I think definitely needs to be thought of. So I need to pull this up here. Oh, before I do, I have to say last thing about Tyler Glasnow. All of his stuff looked electric. We're talking about 4-pitch mix that graded out well above league average stuff here. We're talking about a combined 111 stuff plus. Shout out to TJ Stats, Thomas Nistico. Thank you, buddy. You put out incredible work. 15 whiffs last night, 62% strike rate. Glasnow was exceptional. He will not be bullied. He's around. When he's on, he's one of the best pitchers in ball. Beautiful to watch. But with Kyle Hurt, he definitely, Kyle Hurt has only pitched in 2 rehab games so far. In his most recent one in AAA, he went 2 innings, 4 punch outs, fastball gut up, over 97. So he is definitely someone to keep an eye on. The rehab assignment there, remember everyone, he's coming back from TJ. So he's someone that we need to keep an eye on, because I was looking at the Dodgers bullpen, and I think they need a righty. I don't think Kirby Yates is it. Do they have is he gonna be in it? Like, I'm not a Kirby Yates believer anymore. Like that ship has sailed. I think his stuff is just remember, Kirby Yates really thrived when he was tunneling well, and he just hasn't done that for a big body of work. But we're talking about Kyle Hurt, and he's looked, that stuff early on, able to go 2 innings, get 4 punch. Like, I know that the Dodgers they really like not baby these guys, but they want to bring them along. They like Kyle Hurt. He's 27 years old. He's got a good future ahead of him. So I don't know how much they would rush him, but Kyle Hurt looked really good. He looked really good. He's looked really good. So I think that would be someone I would definitely keep an eye on, Mike. So I wanted to make sure to bring this up here. I've been a huge Kyle Hurt guy. He throws a hard fastball. There's a difference. It's like you'll hear bowling ball fastball, and that's what I think it's going to be. So yeah, same stuff that people hear about Bruzdar, Enriquez, like a bowling ball type of fastball. That stuff plays in the post. Good change. If he continues a really good rehab assignment, I think he could be a guy. I think Kyle Hurt could be a guy and put him in the postseason bullpen. Yeah, get Kirby Yates out of here. Alex and Abigail, just toss this in here real quick. Scott sucks, man. Be nice to me. Rude. I know it's about Tanner Scott, but yeah, be rude. All right. Who do you think are the top relievers come playoffs? I mean, I could be as biased as you want, or I can tell you like who's been really good. Jack Dreyer's got to be in the mix here. But Blake Treinen, need Kopech to be good. I would like Robleski, but I think he gets. I don't know if Robleski has a spot, but I'm gonna say they're gonna go with Blake Treinen, Edgardo Enriquez. I texted it out to Blake last night. Let me pull this up here. Brock Stewart's in there. Hold on. I think their bullpen's going to go like this, and I'm going to include in Kyle Hurt just for you, Mike, so you know this was real. Tanner Scott, Ben Kasparius, Kyle Hurt, Brock Stewart, Anthony Bonda, Jack Dreyer, Alex Vesia, Michael Kopech, and Blake Treinen. And then I said they could swap Robleski or Enriquez for Scott if it gets bad. I don't think they'll do it, but I think they leave off Anthony Bonda before they leave off Tanner Scott. All right. Yeah. Says this. Top of my head, yeah. And then Robo, Bonda's been in there, but Bonda's been good. It's tough for me to leave him off there with Robleski. Yeah. I think they would prefer him stretched out a bit just in case anything goes on. If they don't, then I also think that Emmett Sheehan, like if Emmett Sheehan's not in the starting rotation, Emmett Sheehan definitely needs to be a guy. I know they don't want to combine, like push him into a short thing there, but Emmett Sheehan's disgusting. I know there's home run prone things, but his last 300 pitches thrown, and this is from John Anderson. I found him on Twitter that he put out great stuff here. He does, got a great Substack there, MLB data. So if he's tuning in, I don't know, somehow sees this, thank you for pulling it up. But last 300 pitches thrown, he's got 59 whiffs. So, I mean, 64 chases in that 300 sample. So that's incredible. That's incredible. Yeah. Let me see. Dusty says, let me try it again. Why does Scott look like Dalton Rushing? Do I look like Dalton Rushing? Oh, is that the mustache? He shouldn't have shaved the mustache. This thing was elite. It was nice. I don't know why he did that. That's how he lost all the juice. Somebody get that news to him. Blake or Matt Moreno, if you're watching, did find out why he shaved the stash. It was ridiculous. Don't let him be bullied. Sign says roster Bonda, but don't let him touch a right-handed hitter. Yeah, I get you. Eden says, but Emmett has strikeout stuff. Yes, he does. You got to fill the bullpen up with those guys. The home runs are going to come, but I really think I think he's good enough to be there. I think he's earned it. Find a way to do it. Mike, I'm not sure about Dalton Rushing and Will Smith. I think Will Smith can be available here either today or tomorrow. I think he'll be all right. Dalton Rushing, that's a heck of an injury. So Stein says Dalton Rushing had an A+ show stash. Yeah, it was a statement. I don't know what he's thinking. All right. Let's see. Norm says if Tanner Scott and Teoscar Hernandez continue to spiral through the end of the regular season, can you envision a scenario where they're both left off the playoff roster in the first round? No, I do not. I flat out do not. That would so a big part of professional sports is like baseball is big, like football is different. Like football, they've got a lot of guys that are similar there. It's like Super Bowl, I know the players get held out, for various things and they can kind of fill that slot there. But for like baseball, the psyche of leaving like a staple piece off your team just because they're underperforming is a very big thing. That's a very big thing. Psyche in baseball is everything. You get so many opportunities. The game finds you. You can't hide from an opportunity because you have to be at the plate. You're going to take the mound. And if you don't feel confident in them, just don't carry them. And I get that. I understand it. Pitching wise, you can work your way around it. Offense, they need Teoscar Hernandez. They don't have they don't have pieces to fill in. They just don't. They don't have the depth in the outfield to withstand that. They just don't. Look. Michael Conforto has been their best outfielder for like a week, almost like 10 days or something like that. What do you want me to tell you? What does that tell you about the rest of like the depth in there? And you want to just leave, a guy who's performed in the postseason off. I understand the frustration with Teoscar, but they're not in a spot where they have the ability to just leave him off. So I understand what you're saying. They don't have those pieces right now to be able to do that. All right. Let's see. Mike says, "I'm underrated take, but I think they use Ohtani as a reliever once in the playoffs. Just one time. I mean, the rules are weird. The rules are weird with that. It would have to be to end a game. It would be, they don't have the Ohtani rule is for a starter. It's not for a reliever. And they're not just going to magically change it. So it's not happening. It would have to be to end a game. And they would have to be like, yeah, Mike says only to end a game. Yeah, so I got you, Mike. I just don't think it'll happen. Let's see. Yoshi says, is it too late to get a bye? Let me check in. Let me check in on the MLB standings here. I don't want the playoff schedule. I don't care about that. Let's see. Predictions for tonight, chat. Emmett Sheehan, Herman Marquez. Offense underperforming. Put that down below. Put that in there. What's your expectations today while I pull this up here? I mean, I think they're going to take care of business. I said that against Dean Kremer. What did I say? I was like, they're going to take care of business. Then they got shoved, and then his elbow blew up. Unfortunately, don't like to see that. All right. I think they're okay. I think the Dodgers are in a decent spot to be able to do it. It's not too late. 4 games. It's not too late. I don't think it's too late. Yeah. I think they can make it happen. Time and again, it says Dodgers win 7-4. Had me offense 4 to 5 runs. Yeah. Big one here. W comment. I just pray the offense doesn't make another 4 ERA pitcher look like a Cy Young level pitcher. Thank you for that. Emmett Sheehan goes 6 to 7. I got you. Okay. Drew Durr says Sheehan will shove. Muncy will get on the board. Gotcha. And I'll take this one and one more. Says question. Doomer's going to doom, but people are too quick to forget. By the same date in the 2020 season, the Dodgers had only won 31 games, championship squads. Yeah, different year. Wild year, but championship squads all have their own journey. They do. They do. A lot of things can change. A lot of things can happen. So you kind of just have to hold on and see what they're going to do because it's just a lot of stuff's going to change. A lot of stuff's going to change. The Dodgers, the Phillies just lost Trey Turner. I think he has a grade 1 hammy and Alec Boehm to the IL. So 2 big pieces to their offense, 2 things to what they're doing. Their starting pitching is not as good as the Phillies hope it would be, but they've still got quality arms there, even with Zach Wheeler down. So they definitely have an opportunity to, catch the Philadelphia Phillies. They definitely can do it. So they've just got to turn their stuff on there, lean on the big 3. Starting pitching's been doing their thing. Yeah, You got to win these ball games. You get 7 against the Giants left who are playing well. So in the Philly series, that's going to be the test. Somebody put it up here. Yeah. Paul Gammy says, I think it would decide who gets the bye. If we lose that series, probably not happening. If we lose that series against the Phillies, it's not happening. Yeah. Yep, Norm, I got it. Yeah, Trey Turner's injury is not as severe, but it's definitely it's notable. It's notable. Does need some help from the Mets for sure. All right. Thank you guys. Thanks for tuning in on this Tuesday. Really good conversation here. Good ball game tonight. I'm just from the data we put out about Emmett Sheehan, watch him continue his success, watch him continue his stuff because starting pitching stuff works itself out. I think he's a guy that they absolutely could slide to the bullpen and have a solid amount of success there. And he's someone that will be a factor going down the stretch. So, and in October, I think he's a guy. I think he's a piece to what they need to be propping up. They need to put their good pitchers in positions to impact ball games there, while using this last little bit to get the guys who still have stuff to work out, find their line. And that's where Dave Roberts' line of thinking with putting Tanner Scott in a scenario where the pressure was on, putting him in that. I know it didn't work out for him in terms of a combined no-hitter, but it would have been nice to see it. So putting him in that spot, he's able to see success, at least to finish that out, even with giving up the double, is what it is. Whatever. All right, chat. Thank you so much, everybody. Again, support the boys, support all the writers. We've got a Dodger Blue 1958. They do an incredible job here. Number one source of, the most trusted independent Dodgers media source. We don't let you down. We do our best to get boots on the ground at every game. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching all our content, consuming everything. Bob Collins says, Edman up soon. I sure damn hope so. He's saving the franchise. Edman's arc is almost here. Tommy Edman, Max Muncy saving the franchise. That's happening. Running it back. All right. Thanks, guys. Yeah, Yoshi, I got you. Can't put that up there, but I got you. We'll see you soon. All right, everybody. You enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. And as always, go Dodgers.